I'm Satine Phoenix, and this is Larry Hamilton, and you're watching us on Follow Me and Die.
Last year I found these graph composition notebooks that are 5 squares to the inch at Walmart and picked up several. They're, I believe, less than $5 a piece, and with 100 sheets in each, that gives you quite a bit of room to put a lot of information. You can make tables, charts, maps, and other miscellaneous notes. Pictured here is just what the cover looks like, and this happens to be one I have gathered miscellaneous RPG and game notes into. I find it very helpful to chart down my information from ideas that come to me when I'm traveling or can't sleep or waiting on the phone when I'm at work, and I end up using these ideas in the games I run. Today I thought I'd show you how I use these graph composition notebooks for gathering game information. This is the notebook that I use for my current AD&D campaign that I run on Roll20. I had some ideas that I kind of scribbled down. I thought I'd organize them a little better. And so here's how I start. First, I put the date on it that I've made the entry. So that I know when I put this in here. And I always start with page 1 for each day. My idea is for monuments, the types of things that one may come across in exploring a hex crawl setting. So first, let's talk about the style or the type. There's all different kinds of ways one can make a monument. For example, cairns, which are just stacks of stones. Megaliths, those are large stones that can be carved or not carved. For example, Stonehenge is an example of carved megalith. Other large stones could be set up. Pillars, those tend to be round, basically like a column but without a roof over it. An obelisk, that's more of an Egyptian type thing. It's like a pyramid on top of a square pillar. Arches, like triumphal arches in the days of ancient Rome and repeated in Berlin and Paris from the time of the Napoleonic Wars. There could be a bier or bier, like what you would set a casket on. A mound. Think of a white living in a mound. A pedestal, a dais or a platform. It can even be a building, like a shrine or temple. Just anything that can mark something. Then there would be the apparent age. How old does it look? It can look new or pristine, weathered or worn, old, ancient, beyond imagination, or indeterminate, no idea. What kinds of decoration would a monument have? Paint or pigment? So it could be bright and colorful, or subdued in earth tones. Can have cloth or wood or other organic decoration. Could be encrusted with gems. You could have plaster over it and then that be decorated or molded. It could be carved. It could have skins on it. That could be interesting. It could have skulls on it. It could have runes on it. And on and on and on. Then there might be growth or plant matter on it. Such as ivy, moss, slime, not necessarily the monstrous kind. It could have water. It could be either damp or submerged. Fungus. Or it could have sand, dirt, mud, lava, or some other covering on it. What material is it made of? So there could be stone, skulls, doesn't have to be stone, bones, horns, creatures with horns, bodies, shells, jewels. It could be metal, either solid or plated. And then what kind of a description does it have? Is it crumbling? Glowing? Charred, like from a fire? Cracked from whatever, an earthquake perhaps? Shattered, perhaps by magic? Is it pristine? Is it floating? Is it spiked, covered with spikes? What does it cover? A site of importance. A treasure. A dungeon. A gate to other plane. A portal to another place. And so as you think about all the different ways that you can describe it, you can perhaps come up with other categories. Or from covers, site of importance. What kinds of site of importance might it be? That could be a battle, a death, a religious event, a coronation, and so forth. And as you begin to build up these descriptions, you can make rollable tables out of them, either rolling multiple dice for each table or construct it so that you could roll just a few dice to get multiple different results. And it's not every day that you're going to need to have monuments unless you have perhaps a section of a city that's covered with monuments. If it's out in the wilderness, you might have scattered monuments. But as you can see, it's not too difficult to come up with rollable tables. It might be a challenge sometimes to come up with enough items to complete a die. If you have 9 entries, coming up with that last one for a 10 entry table, you may give up and go for a 9 entry table, and one of them happens on 2 results of a D10, or you may have it weighted so that in certain circumstances you add or subtract 1 from a D10 or a D8. But as you begin to use the tables and generate ideas, you can quickly see other ways that you can improve them. And there's probably tables that have been used to generate monuments that others have. I think I've seen something like this in the Ready Ref sheets from Judges Guild from back in the day. But these are the kinds of things I come up with, ideas for how to flesh out my campaign and explorations. And sometimes the ideas that come to me may not necessarily be used anytime soon, but I like to try to organize them. I wrote a little fast recording this. I try to write it a little neater so it's easy to read, but you get the idea. And then the placement is just kind of random around the page. I could even have little doodles in this blank spot in the middle to describe different kinds of monuments. And monuments can be all kinds of things. Oh, grave. How could I forget grave? A monument such as a tombstone. So anything that you can think of that would help define the type of item you're building tables for, whether it be monuments, monsters, treasures, categories of items. The list can go on and on. And in general, you're probably going to find when you're running a game that there'll be some little piece that you say, oh, I wonder if there's a table for that. And if you can't find a table for the kind of thing you're after, you can just build your own. You don't have to wait around for somebody else to build the exact same table that you're looking for. And if you do find somebody else's table, they may have approached it in a totally different way that doesn't quite capture what you're after. So of course it's okay to steal some of their ideas to use for creating your own tables. Just be careful to give attribution if you ever publish something. But as you can see, it doesn't take too long to come up with these ideas. You just have to relax and let your mind flow, and it kind of builds. And this is basically the order I did it. I went down the list and came up with these ideas, and as I talk about it and think about it more things come to mind. And I try to leave a little bit of room so I can add to it. If you end up running out of room, just rewrite it on a new page, organize it better. And then by the way it's spaced, I can number these and see how many I have. So a D6 table for age, unless I come up with other descriptions. 2 more would give me a D8, 4 more would be a D10, etc. So don't be afraid to let your mind wander and to scribble your notes and come back and organize them so they're usable. And once you get it smoothed out and working well, make a PDF out of it and share it online. Something is pay what you want on DriveThruRPG or RPG Now. So this is just a quick little example of some of the things that I do with my little notebooks. Do you come up with your own tables? Share it in the comments below. And game on. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time. If you've liked what you've seen, please like, share, and subscribe, and tell all your friends. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. The links will be in the description below. You can also find a link below for multiverse.world, a website about analog gaming in a digital world to which I contribute. So check them out too.
And just remember, with all of my sites, you don't have a choice, because it's follow me and die.